Hello all, in this video we will see our WTL assignment number 8 to create a login module for the web application using Struts framework. So what do you mean by Apache Struts? Struts is an open source web application framework for developing Java web applications. To start with, let us first revise some basic concepts which are required for this particular assignment. What do you mean by form bean? A form bean is a type of Java bean. A form bean is an instance of a subclass of an action form class, and other form bean classes which stores HTML form data from a submitted client request or that can store input data from a struts action link that a user clicked. There are two types of form beans: static forms and dynamic forms. Next, action class in Struts framework. Action class in Struts framework defines the business logic. It can handle the client request and prepares the response. It also decides where the response should be forwarded. So basically, an action class receives data from the presentation layer and forwards the data to the corresponding business layer. It also processes the data which comes from the business layer and forwards them back to the presentation layer. Overriding validate method in form bean class. We need to implement validation logic inside the validate method. Now here in this assignment, we are going to create 6 files: the login.jsp, success.jsp, then login form.java, login action.java, strut config.xml, and web.xml. So first we will create the login.jsp, which contains a form to be displayed to the user, like employee registration or say student registration. Then we will create a form bean class. The name of this form we have given as login form.java, which will hold the values provided by the user. Then we will create a controller class. The name of this file will be login action.java. This will check for the user input and decide which view to be redirected to the user, either to success if validation goes true or for failure.jsp if validation goes wrong. Then we will create success page and failure page for the third step. And finally, we will configure our form bean and action classes in struts config.xml. We have used these tools like JDK 1.8 or above, Eclipse Indigo or above is required, and Tomcat 8 or Tomcat 7, and Struts. This is the older version. You can go with the newer version also. So let us start coding. I'll show you how to code. But basically you should start like this. First you go on file, click on new project and select dynamic web project like this. After selecting dynamic web project, press next. Eclipse will ask you for the name of the project. Enter the name of the project. Here the name for this assignment I have given as login example struts 1. And then in your web in INF folder, there are all libraries over there. These are the required essential jar files which we should have to run this particular assignment. Okay, so antlr, common bean utils, common chain digest, common digester, commons login, commons validator, oro, struts core, struts taglet. All these jar files are required to run this particular assignment. After that, we have to configure action servlets of struts with web.xml. The first page that will be called in the login application is the login.jsp page. This configuration should be done in web.xml. Okay. Text.jsp, it will be like this. It will forward it to the initial default page login.jsp. User will navigate to success.jsp page after successful login. And failure.jsp will be inside the web content directory of your project with the following contents. So if your validation goes failure, then it will again redirect it to login.jsp. On dynamic web page, give the name to your project as Struts validation example. I have given this name, and then you can see the our bean over here, employee form.java. So this is the bean created in this particular assignment, and see the package name is com.jwt.struts.com, and this is the code. We have defined this method: set username, get username, and then this is extending the validate form. This is a class with all 4 string variables. So using getters and setters, we have assigned the fields. Then next step is to add the validator plugin. So where is the validator plugin here? See, struts config.xml. This is in this file we are going to add our validator plugins in the strut config.file. Let me show you where we have added the validator plugin in this file. Yeah, can you see this class name? Here. So here we have, this is how we add the validator plugin to our struts config file. Then next step is to define validations for the form, which we have done through this XML file, validation.xml. Where each form set tag can contain multiple form tags that specify the form name that you want to associate with the validation framework as the value of the name attribute of the form tag. Name of the form specified here should be same as the one specified in the struts config.xml file. Now you can associate each properties of the form bean with one or more predefined validation rules. The dependent attribute of the field takes comma delimited list of rules to associate with each property, like the username, password, email, and phone properties associated with the required rule, which means that the value cannot be empty. If it is, it will generate the error message. The error message to be displayed when a particular rule is not satisfied and which is specified in the application resource property file. Okay, I'll show you where the application resource property file is. You can actually locate it anywhere in your project, but you have to specify the correct path of that particular property file. So here the required validator will make sure the fields is not blank, and email validator is used to check the correct email format. Both required and email validators are declared in validator rules.xml. So I'll show you the validator rule.xml. See this particular file. Okay, so here we have defined this required and email validators. See, check this particular file. See, can you see this? Required validators? Yes. We have even defined the methods. So we have required is for max length, mean length for masking. Okay. So all this which are very much required, all that validators we defined here. The next step is to create the action class. So our action class is here, employee action in our packages. This is the application resource property which I have mentioned just now. So you can locate basically this file anywhere in the project, but only you have to be specific with the path of this particular file.
वीडियो पर है, वीडियो की क्वालिटी सही है तो नेटवर्क सही है.
So this is the action class. So we need to create in our package. This is the action class file. Like this. Then next step is to create, already it has been created, the struts file, struts.config.xml inside the web INF directory. Which will map which maps the action to our validator form. So what this file will do is struts.config.xml. What this file will do is this will map the action to our validator form. Okay. The next step is to create application resource property that I have shown you. The important thing here to keep in mind is Struts validation framework uses externalization of the error messages. The messages are stored in the property file, in this case action application resource properties, and referred by the key values. Copy following, okay. You have to place this inside the package. We can provide any name to the property file, and we can place this file in any location of our project. Only we need to provide the path of the file in struts.config.xml file. Now the next step is to create the JSP to display the user interface to the UI to the user. So we have created through employee register.jsp the user interface like this, where we are going to take the input from user in this way. And then next step is to, and after that we are going to create web.xml. Web.xml. Like this. This is XML file. Just by conferring the descriptor, it will be automatically created. But you need to specify the paths like this here. These paths. And that's it. Now your assignment is ready to run. So we will run our assignment. So basically I will run these pages. Let me first close these windows. So I will run this on Tomcat. So initially, let me enter some invalid data to check what kind of validation message it gives to us. When I press submit, it says that this was the requirement validator which we have specified in our validator XML file. So we have put the restriction on the length of password. It should be in between 7 to 15. And also email address is not valid. So it is showing the messages. Okay. So let me check one. Let me correct. Okay, and let us keep this blank, see what happens. Again, it should give some messages. It is showing the password message, but the email message has been gone since we have corrected the email ID. And let me now give this as per the rule. It is more than 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it is 7 characters, so it will accept now. But without even leaving this blank, what will happen? Just check. See, it's not, it's saying that confirm password, it's not matching. So here it is also working, our validators are working properly. And submit. See, now all validations are fulfilled, and it is employee has been added successfully. Successful. So hope you have understood this assignment, and you will download the zip file from the classroom, run that program on your Eclipse, whatever way it is possible for you, record the compilation, record the running of your program, or in the next session you can share your screens and show me the execution of this assignment. I'll be very happy to see that. It's a practical session, little bit difficult, little bit difficult for us, but I will be happy if you are doing practicals at your home in this lockdown period also. So see you in my next session. And yes, don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you. Thank you.